Aviation, for many of us, is an industry that we rarely notice. The few times we appreciate its importance are probably the times we decide to travel far, or the times we receive airmail shipped from the other end of the world. But aviation has long been a thriving industry with incredible growth rates. In the 15 years before COVID, the number of travelers by air has already doubled, from 1,994 million to 4,543 million. Air cargo has also increased from 40.5 million tons to 61.5 million tons. During the pandemic, cargo operators have been able to development of e-commerce and they built up 35% of world commerce transportation. And also, air cargo carriers carried a huge responsibility of distributing vaccines worldwide. However, behind the huge demand for cargo and passengers, shortage of pilots begins to be a problem as there are more and more intercontinental routes. Thus, our pilots are put under fatigue. Fatigue is defined by a feeling of constant tiredness and weakness that can be physical, mental, or both. Fatigue can induce symptoms that threaten aviation safety such as dizziness, delayed response, impaired decision-making, blurry vision, and poor concentration. When all factors combine, accidents can happen. One of the great examples is the FedEx 80 accident. The pilots crossed multiple time zones within a few days before the accident, thus depriving them from proper sleep. Although they were granted enough rest time according to ICAO, or International Commercial Aviation Organization regulations. The consequential fatigue induced late responses and visual illusions for the pilots during landing, resulting in a crash. It was fortunate that such an event happened to a cargo aircraft, but what if a tragedy like this happens to a passenger jet? Statistical evidence have already shown that 4 to 7% of aviation accidents are induced by fatigue, so that actions had to be made. Here are the problems that await to be resolved.
In order to address the problems, we are introducing the Spirit Aware. Our product is dedicated to bring wakefulness to airmen from airline companies that will potentially or even unintentionally disrupt their employees' body clock. Our target company will be intercontinental airlines, cargo operators, and companies that fly late at night. Here's our solution. When an airline company purchases our service, pilots of the company will each receive the EOG and light detection devices, smartwatches, and an app download to their electronic flight bags, which are tablets similar to iPads and Windows services. EOG and light detection devices and smartwatch collects pilots' physical data and feed them to the app on their electronic flight bags, where their wakefulness will be monitored. Also, lifestyle guidelines for pilots to adjust body clocks will also be generated here. In addition to that, the EFB is the platform for cognitive ability tasks that pilots will be instructed to perform before and during the flights. The customer airline company will also have one server installed so that all systems can process and all data can be collected to identify if certain dispatch algorithms tend to stress pilots. As illustrated, our product is divided into 4 technical parts: EOG and light detection devices, smartwatch, cognitive tasks, and servers. The guidelines will be about diet, exercises, sleep cycle, etc. And those are based on biological evidences on human endocrine system, sleep cycle, circadian rhythm, etc.
The first piece of technology that we implement is EOG. This technology detects eyelid movement and converts it into electric signals. The wavelength, frequency, and interval of these signals are indication of whether a person is fatigued. In our product, we offer our customer choices whether they choose to mount it on eyeglasses or double eyelid stickers. Some pilot will find either type of device uncomfortable to wear. Another technology that we use is smartwatches with IMU and PPG. Inertial movement units detects the change of posture during sleep, as decreased movement indicate deeper sleep. PPG technology collects data on one's blood flow and heartbeat through the change of light reflection rate of blood, so that the smartwatch can analyze one's wakefulness. These two technologies are both inexpensive and widely available on smartwatches these days. Cycle monitor vigilance test, or PVT, detects one's response time to a certain stimulus, and this is negatively correlated with one's airworthiness. This photo shows how it normally works. Participant had to press the screen as soon as the number appears. In our product, this test will be based on the app installed to the EFBs. The EFB app is the platform where all data collected from one pilot, either from devices or from the PVT test, will be analyzed. This app will also take into account the pilot's schedule and his or her aircraft type, while generating lifestyle recommendations, which are based on biological evidence as indicated on the slides. The backstage servers will utilize the technique of reinforcement learning when evaluating all the data collected from pilots, as the computer system learn to associate certain trait of psychological data and PVT response with fatigue. Thus, the system can have better accuracy in evaluating pilots' wakefulness. Reinforcement learning shares a similar mechanism with operant learning in psychology, in which desirable behaviors are rewarded while undesirable ones are punished. With this technique, the computer can be unsupervised while learning, thus reducing operational costs for the whole system.
Although pilots have to wear more devices while flying as they have to follow the procedure here, the company can benefit greatly from our product, as one can identify and replace fatigued pilots without relying on their self-reporting, improve their wakefulness through work shifts, evaluate the contributions of dispatch system to pilot fatigue, and receive positive changes in dispatch algorithms. However, the key is that we protect the sky by introducing a system-level solution. Instead of blaming pilots for not taking so-called effective rest, we ease them from the stress and also offload this inappropriate responsibility from pilots to dispatch. Our product also provides an unprecedented service of advising the design of better and safer dispatch algorithms. Also notably, our product helps each individual pilot with their own statistics. Talking about market influence, our final goal is to cooperate with international aviation organizations for certification. As institutions such as ICAO and IATA and regulation enforcement groups, our products will gain credibility by receiving their approval from such organizations. But as initial goals, we decide to experiment our products with regional aviation authorities such as the CAAC of China and regional middle-scale airlines such as El Al from Israel and SF Cargo from China. Our long-term goals will be receiving certifications and fundings from regulatory authorities and attracting more customers, and eventually, we hope that our practices can be the new standard for the whole industry. Thank you for your attention, and let's make our sky safer.